Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great Thursday so far, and as well as a great start to your day. And today is February 20th, 2025, and in today's forecast, we are going to be talking about another potential storm system that could be coming to the United States as we not only get into the end of this month, but especially as we get into the beginning of March. So we will need to watch it very closely despite being in a little bit of a quiet period as we head into the next couple of days from now. But we will need to keep an eye on the weather pattern very closely, as this weather is also going to start getting very interesting, as we could be experiencing some things that we haven't experienced yet. So we will need to be watching that all closely. But before we get into today's forecast, make sure to subscribe to the channel, especially if you are new here. Like this video, give it a thumbs up, and also share this with any friends, family, or anyone who you know on social media. I definitely appreciate it, and I really do appreciate the support from you guys. But let's first start off by taking a look at what we can expect as we get into the future. And you guys can see how as we get into the end of February, especially around the February 27th time frame, we will likely be seeing a pretty decent storm system around, potentially bringing a little bit of severe weather, as we'll kind of have that hook shape to it, and we could also be seeing some noticeable snowfall on the northern side of that system as we get into Thursday of next week, which will be exactly 7 days from now. So we will need to keep an eye on the storm system very closely, as it's going to kind of have that comma shape to it. And typically when you get storms like this, you usually see kind of a line of thunderstorms form, which is kind of what it's showing, as it is indicating some chances for some rumbles of thunder with this system. So we will need to be watching this system very closely, especially as we get into the end of this month. Now, once again, even though we're going to be in a quiet period, things can still always change. So we will continue to watch this storm system very closely, and then we also got another storm system that we're going to be watching for as we get into the beginning of March. This is where we might be seeing a little bit higher chance of severe net weather. Now, once again, things can always change, including when we're expecting a quiet period of weather. Things can always change all the time. So this is probably something to still take with a grain of salt, but I still think we could be seeing some pretty good chances for severe storms here and there as we get into the 5th day of March, with possibly another similar setup where we have a little bit of a comma shape right there with noticeable snowfall on the northern side of that system, with possibly even a line of thunderstorms developing once again. So we will need to watch this system very closely as we get into the beginning of March, and then maybe some cold air trying to work its way on in here, which would be a little bit unusual for March, but it is something to keep an eye on, especially as we get into that beginning of March, where I do think not only severe weather, but also a couple more shots of cold air does appear possible. And let's go ahead and take a look at that, because once again, we still got that cold air still lingering around for the rest of today, and perhaps even into tomorrow, before this warm air really starts to expand across much of the country, before another potential cold shot may roll on through once again as we get into March. And it looks like we could even see a couple of those even as we get into the 2nd of March. So these will be, some pretty big warm and cold air battles to keep an eye on closely, as usually when the temperatures are like this, usually that indicates chances for severe weather, especially when you see warm moist air surge on in from the Gulf of America, and as well as some cold air surging on in right beside it, indicating some chances for potential severe weather. So we will need to be watching this very closely, as we're going to have a lot of moisture to work with from the Gulf of America, and like I said, we're even going to have a lot of this cold air colliding with it. So definitely make sure you are paying attention, as I really do think this is going to be another one of those big storm systems to watch for. And not only will we need to be watching our temperatures, but also chances for snowfall. You can see that when we look at your total snowfall, we could have a sign of maybe another winter storm or two once again, as the storm systems roll on through, and especially as we get into the beginning of March, where we will likely have chances for noticeable snowfall on the northern northern side of those systems, which will likely be along and north of the Central Plains. So this will be something to watch for, especially over there in the northeast, where I do think this corridor right there that I just circled will likely be seeing anywhere from 1 to 2 feet of snowfall, especially where you see those pink colors. So we will watch it very closely, like I said, especially as we get into the beginning of March. Now, once again, things are really far out. There's a chance that models may start showing a quiet period again. Who really knows? But from what we know so far, though, it does look like we're going to have some chances for some pretty big snowfall. So make sure you are paying attention, as I do think a lot of noticeable snowfall and also some severe weather does appear possible as we get into the beginning of March. And then the other thing we're going to look at is going to be our total rainfall. This is also going to give us the other idea about seeing potentially some pretty big severe weather events. And you guys can see with your total rainfall, looking at the European model, we do see some pretty good amounts of snowfall across much of the eastern United States, as you can see right there. Some areas may even pick up near 2 inches, especially down here along the Gulf Coast, where I do think we will have some shots of possibly even seeing some flooding. Now, once again, still too far out to really tell exactly what's going to happen with the storm system, but from what I'm seeing right now, it really does look like this will be something to watch for, especially as we get closer to spring, and we might even be seeing some pretty big time flooding over here in the northwest, as well as there is a shot of possibly seeing some more atmospheric river events rolling on through, including maybe even some areas down there in Southern California maybe getting on 1 to 2 inches of rainfall in some areas. So we will definitely continue to watch for those very closely. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's forecast. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, especially if you are new here, and also turn on all notifications, as I will likely be doing a spring forecast. I'm planning on releasing it sometime at the end of February or even the beginning of March, so make sure to subscribe to the channel if you guys would like to stay tuned for that. And I really do appreciate the support from you guys, so make sure to do that if you haven't done that already. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Thursday out there. Once again, thank you all so much for the support. It really does help out the channel a lot. But make sure to subscribe, though, as we also are getting very close to reaching 2,000 subscribers. And if we can reach that before spring, guys, that would make me feel really good out there. Once again, thank you all so much, and I hope you guys all have a great Thursday out there, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much, and hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday out there.